Good morning to all of you. I am KVSS Ramakrishna, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of CSE, Vignyans Nirula. Today, I would like to introduce a concept called as software engineering. As you are seeing on the screen that the word software engineering is actually consists of two different words. One is software, second one is engineering. The term software engineering actually consists of two different words. One is software and the second one is engineering. Now we are going to discuss them individually and independently. Why? Because each and every word, that is software and engineering, is having its own importance. So we are going to discuss them. First we try to define what is a software, then we try to define what is engineering, then we can combine these two words to define the term software engineering. Now you are looking in the screen, define software. What is a software? In simple, we can say that a software can be defined as collection of programs, as simple as like that, right? Suppose that we are having programs P1, P2, P3 and so on Pn. Now all these programs are combined together to form as a software. So we have defined that a software is nothing but a collection of programs. Now you are seeing on the screen that P1, P2 and so on Pn, when they are combinedly worked together, they will build a software. So that is what is a software definition in simple. Now we are going to extend the definition of a software by giving some other definition. How we can do it? See, as you are seeing on the screen, a software can be defined as a one which consists of three important things. The first thing is instructions, second thing is the data structures, and the third one is the documents. So we can say that a software is actually a combination of three things. First one is instruction, and second one is data structure, and the third one is document. Now we are seeing in the diagram that a software is represented as a combination of these three things. This is somewhat extensive definition of a software. Now we are going to see about each and every component, that is each and everything in detail. That is, what is an instruction, we are going to define it, what is a data structure, that we are going to define it, and what is a document, that we are going to define it. Now let us start with the word instruction. What are instructions? Instructions are nothing but the programs, and when they get executed, they are going to provide you functions, desired functions, features and performance. So that is about the definition of instructions. And the second one is, you are seeing on the screen, the second one is, what are data structures? Now what are data structures? Now data structures can be defined as those which allow the programs to manipulate information. So you are seeing on the screen, a data structures are those which allow the programs to manipulate the information. Such things are called as data structures. Now we are going to look at documents. What are documents? See, documents are the things that allow the programs, or that gives the description of a program and as well as usage of a program. So documents are the things that are going to describe the functionality of programs or operations of programs and as well as usage of the programs. So we say that a software is typically consisting of these three important things. Now we are going to discuss about a concept called as type of documents. We can broadly classify the documents into two types. The first type is called as a physical document or hardware documents, and the second one is called as logical documents or virtual documents. They are soft copies. So as you are seeing on the screen that documents are classified into two types. One is physical and second one is logical. What they are going to maintain, earlier I said that documents are going to maintain about the description of a program, and as well as they are going to give the usage of the program also. These are the documents significance. Now we are going to deal with a topic called as the nature of software. What is the nature of software? Here we assume that a software plays a dual role. Dual means what? Double role, right? Do you understand? Dual means double role. How a software plays a double role means a software itself can be treated as a product. Now, the second role played by the software is the software acts as a vehicle to deliver the product. Now, let me elaborately explain what you mean by software acting as a product and what you mean by the software acts as a vehicle to deliver the product. Right. Let us suppose that we are having a Windows operating system. The Windows operating system can be treated as a software and it is a product. Now, let us treat one more software that is called as Skype. Now, Skype is also an example for software. After all, both of them are collection of programs only, right? Now, in order to use Skype software, we need to get installed on any one of the operating systems. Assume that we have installed Skype on Windows operating system, right? So here the Windows is acting, which is nothing but a software, example of a software is acting as itself as a product, and as well as it is acting as a vehicle to deliver the product Skype. Why? Because it's simple. You need, if you want to use Skype software, first of all you need to install Skype on a Windows operating system. Then only you can make use of Skype, right? It is not only Windows, on any other operating system you can install Skype. So here we say that Windows operating system is playing a double role. It's a software is playing a double role. One is it is itself acting as a product, and the second one is it is acting as a vehicle to deliver the product. That is about the double role that is played or dual role of a software. Now we are going to see, as you are seeing on the screen, on the left hand side of the screen we are having a Windows operating system. It acts as a product, and the second one is a Skype, which is acting as a delivered product. Okay. Now, examples of software. Here we are going to discuss about two main examples of software. There are several examples of software we can give. For example, the first example that what we are going to give is all the web browsers that we know, they are all examples of software. So first one is a web browser. Say what are the various web browsers you know? See, for example, you say that you know Chrome. It is a Google web browser, right? It's a web browser from the Google. What is the second web browser? See, second web browser, we say that it is a Safari. Safari is also a web browser. And we say that UC browser is also an example for web browser. You say that Firefox is also an example for web browser. Okay. And then the Internet Explorer, which is a product of Microsoft, is also an example of web browsers. Right. See, if you see in the diagram, the first one is Chrome, and the second one is Safari, and third one is UC browser, and fourth one is Firefox, and fifth one is the Internet Explorer. Okay. Now, under the second category of software, we are going to give the examples of operating systems. Let me show you the diagrams and let me ask you questions. Which logo represents which operating system? Okay. Now, students, tell me, what are those two operating systems that you are seeing on the screen? What is the first operating system? Yes, it is Windows operating system. What is the second one? AppleCut, right? It's a Macintosh operating system or Mac operating system. What is the third one? It is a Linux operating system. These are all operating systems are also the examples of software. Earlier we said that web browsers are examples of software. Here now we are saying that these operating systems, all the operating systems like Windows operating system, Macintosh operating system, Linux operating system, and all other operating systems such as Sun Microsystems has introduced Sun Solaris operating system, ZOS operating system, IBM's AIX operating systems. All these operating systems are the examples of software only, and especially we say them as a system software. That is about the significance of the word software. We have defined software in a simple manner. We define the software in more elaborated fashion. We have shown that software plays a dual role by acting as a product as well as by acting as a vehicle for delivering the product. All these things we have mentioned. Now see, the first one is Windows, second one is Mac OS, and third one is Linux. Now we define the second word of our discussion, that is engineering in software engineering. Now what is engineering? See, we can say that engineering is all about the developing a product, means we are going to develop a product, and that is depending on well defined scientific principles, methods and procedures. So that is what the meaning of engineering. If you are looking at the screen, you can understand that engineering is all about developing a product using well defined scientific principles, methods and procedures. That's what is the meaning of engineering. Now we are going to go towards the term software engineering. We have defined the concept of software, we have given the definition for software, and now we have defined the concept of engineering. Now we are going to define the entire term software engineering. Now what is software engineering? Software engineering can be treated as a branch of engineering that is associated with developing a software product depending on the well-defined scientific principles, methods and procedures. So that is what is called as a software engineering. What we said, software engineering is a branch of engineering which is mainly associated with development of software product using well-defined scientific methods and procedures. Now we have defined the entire term software engineering. Now we are going to head about the discussion called as outcome of software engineering. What is the outcome of software engineering? Let us discuss it. Now students, you may ask you one question, sir, why it is a theory subject, software engineering is a theory subject, what the fun we can have by going through this such a boring subject, right? Students, it is not like that. See, whatever the principles, whatever the methodologies, whatever the methods, the techniques, the procedures we are going to discuss in this concept of software engineering, whatever the models, whatever the entire software development life cycle we are going to discuss in this subject, they are practically implemented in the software industry. Whenever you go and work as a software engineer in any company, that company has to implement all these mechanisms, procedures, etc. to make their product fruitful. So that is the main impact of software engineering. The main outcome of software engineering is that with the help of applying all the principles, methodologies of software engineering, we may be able to deliver a much more reliable and efficient software product to the customer, who is our utmost important. Okay, so that is what is the outcome of the software engineering. Now we are going to discuss about the characteristics of software. See, when I use a word software, we can say that we can produce a software, or we can develop a software, or we can engineer a software. But we never will use the word that we can manufacture a software, which is not appropriate in classical fashion. Okay, we don't use the word manufacture. We may be using the word called as developing a software or engineering a software, but we never use the word called as manufacturing a software that you are seeing on the screen. Now, the second principle is software does not wear out. Software does not wear out. What do you mean by wear out? See, each and every product, if it is a hardware product, it may be having certain expiry time. For example, if you buy a cell phone, how many years you can use the cell phone? Maybe 2 to 3 years, or at most 4 to 5 years. After that, it may happen that the CPU may be having to face a problem, or any hardware equipment like mic or speaker, you may be having a problem with that hardware equipment. So hardware equipments, hardware devices will definitely be having a lifetime, a wear out period. Students, you may be asking one question, sir, do we have software equipment or softwares are going to suffer in the same fashion as the hardware devices? No, it is not the fact. software don't wear out. They don't have any expiry time like hardware devices. Okay, how I can better explain the concept of software does not wear out? So I am going to explain you the concept of software does not wear out by using a graph, by using a curve. I am going to use the curve by pointing the time on the x-axis and the failure rates on the y-axis. You are going to see such a graph. Now you are seeing the screen on which you are going to visualize a curve which is a failure curve for the hardware. If you keenly look at that failure curve of the hardware, it looks like a bathtub. It looks like a bathtub. Why it was in the shape of a bathtub? Let me explain you. See, at the starting or manufacturing beginning of a hardware product, it may happen that failure rates may be very high at the starting time, at the starting of manufacturing a hardware product. That's why on the y-axis we got that peak, right? Now, as the errors or bugs or malfunctions that are identified with the hardware devices, we are going to fix them, right? They are going to, hardware engineers are going to fix them. So the curve is going to cut down, right? After a period of time, now the curve almost all gets flattened, right? You are seeing on the screen. Now whatever the curve that is flattened, the time interval of flattening till it rises again is called as a lifetime. That's what I am talking. Okay, so hardware devices, that's what is called the service time of hardware devices. Earlier we have seen, at the beginning we have seen infant mortality, and later then it's a service time. There will be no errors in that. After a period of time, it may happen that the speakers or a microphones of a cell phone or even the CPU of a cell phone may be having a problem, right? In that again the errors may occur. Again the errors may occur, that is failure rate may occur. So that's why we are going to see the rise at the ending. That's what is called after the expiration of service time, the failure rate is very high. That is how we can understand this. Now students, you may ask you questions, sir, why hardware devices are going to have exhibit high failure rates? Why they are going to wear out? Why? Because there are supposed to be faced various environmental effects. What type of environmental effects? See, they may be exposed to a very high temperature. Now in Guntur itself, when you see the temperature in summer, it may go around 45-46 degrees centigrade, which is a very high temperature. Now whatever the hardware devices that we are using, they may prone to suffer that much high environment pressures, right? Like temperature and like pollution, like air pressure, humidity thing, and you may be misusing the hardware equipment. These are all things that are the factors which may cause the CPU or hardware device to fail. So that is the main reason. That's why we say that hardware devices are going to wear out, whereas software things will never wear out. Now we are going to see the failure curve of software. You are seeing on the screen the failure curve of software. The failure curve of software is actually consisting of two curves. The first curve is called as an idealized curve and the second curve is called as an actual curve. Now what is that idealized curve? Now here also we are taking the time on the x-axis and the failure rate on the y-axis. Here if you see, carefully observe the curve. Now the idealized curve at starting, we are seeing in the curve that the error rate or failure rate is very high, and this is where we are going to encounter certain bugs. Okay, once the bugs are detected, they are going to get fixed. What do you mean by bug? It's a defect in the software program that what we have written, right? Generally a programmer is going to write certain piece of code. Now if at all, if any bug happens, any mistake happens in that code, you are going to this code may exhibit a bug. So once the bug is uncovered, then the failure rate will automatically comes down. But if you see the curve, actually the idealized curve at the earlier the failure rate will be heavy, very high, but as the time goes on, it is almost flattened. There will be no errors. Why? Because there are no mistakes done by the programmer in the software once he fixed the bug. Okay. Now what about the actual curve? See, if you carefully observe, see, whenever you are going to encounter a bug, what a software engineer is going to do, a programmer is going to do, is going to fix that bug, right? Suppose that, let me explain this scenario with an example, right? Now, let us suppose that you have written 10 lines of code and assume that out of these 10 lines, 6th line is having a bug, is raising a bug. Now, as a software programmer, I am going to fix the bug. I am going to modify the code of the 6th line. Assume that after I modified the code, now instead of 1 error, you are getting 4 errors. So what is that? See, there may be the fixing of a particular bug may introducing some more new bugs. That may happen in software, right? So whenever that happens, that is, your fixation is actually resulting rising of bugs. Now whenever that is going to happen, we see sudden spike. That's what you are seeing in the actual curve. So whenever you are going to modify a bug, it may happen that a sudden spike in the error rate may go on. So like that, whenever you are going to do that fixation, the curve may spike out. This is about the failure curve for software. These are the characteristics of software. So till now we have defined, we have a discussion about software engineering. First we explained what is a software, then we have explained the elaborate definition of a software, then we have explained how software acts as a dual role, that is under nature of software. Later then we have given various examples of a softwares such as web browsers, softwares such as operating systems. Now we said that a software both acts as a product and acts as a vehicle to deliver the product. These are the things that what we have defined. Later on we defined the word called as engineering. Now once the engineering word is defined, we are going to combine these two words, right? Software engineering, we have discussed that also. Now after that we have introduced a concept that is called as a characteristics of software. The first characteristic of a software, what we have discussed, a software can be developed or a software can be engineered, but we cannot use the word a software can be manufactured. That is not appropriate.